Welcome to the 4 Bite Show, where today's guest, Kelcey Gurtler, plays a central role in the producer community in Western New York. When I'm talking about producers, people who are making things to be eaten or enjoyed otherwise, or cosmetics put on your skin, various
Yeah.
things, products to help your life. And you are the proprietor of the farm shop, which is on Ashland. Like, I just think of so many people who have been to Kuni's or the place, and I wonder how many have never gone around the corner and discovered the farm shop.
Well,
Uh,
every day I'm open, I get people wandering in there that are like, "How long has this been here?" And it's exciting to see new faces.
How long has it been there? Let's talk about how the farm shop came to be.
Well, Patrick Lango, he opened the farm shop about 15 years ago. So that was more of a vehicle for his yogurt and his dairy products and like all the wonderful concoctions that he did.
Cow
And
dairy.
then, yep, white cow dairy. And so that has a cult following in and of itself. I mean,
Mhm.
there's nothing like his yogurt. Patrick could make anything, and he's got the reputation where people will buy it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So since he has made the decision he spends most of his time in San Miguel in Mexico, and he is making yogurt down there, and he's making all of his goodies down there. But I took over the farm shop last October, and since then it's been a roller coaster ride. I mean, we're trying to prove that where I will never be Patrick, no one will ever be Patrick. I'm just trying to carry on the message that he started, and like,
Yes.
which is pretty much just like loving good food and trying to get people excited about it, about local farmers and all things Buffalo.
So the shop is open how many days a week now?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Mhm.
But hopefully in the warmer weather, I'm hoping to go Wednesday through Sunday.
So when people come there, they find um, shelves and coolers and freezers full of the efforts of some of the local small producers, people who might truly be considered, this word is overused, artisanal, like
Yes.
small batches by hand. They made the ingredients, they put it together.
Yes. And I think what makes the farm shop so special is that um it's very personal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on a first name basis with all the farmers. So where you're getting your pork from is the Myers family in Chestnut Hill. Where you're getting your bread from is Emily Savage of Savage Wheat Project. And I can either put you in contact with them if you have any questions, or I try my best to be as knowledgeable about everybody that I have in there as possible to make the world a little bit smaller.
And it allows an intimacy with your food that would not, for most people, otherwise be possible.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's so exciting. I mean, I get really excited about it just because I think it's really cool to be able to know your farmers, to be on a first name basis with your farmers. I mean, I'm a one stop shop. It just goes straight from the farm to me. There's no like stops in between. It's just basically, it's as intimate as it can get. You nailed it with that.
So in the big picture, who are the people right now coming to the farm shop? Is it people largely from the block surrounding your establishment?
There is a big community, like as far as like the Lexington Elmwood community goes, where it is where they get their eggs, it's where they get their milk, it's where they get their meat. I mean, it's where they get their bread, and it has become. I do have customers that come in every week, if not every day that I'm open to get something, because I try to have something different every day to get people in. Just because like say Thursdays I have Emma from Pie and Scone, and she makes fresh pies every Thursday with a savory Danish, and so people will come in just for that. And then Fridays is of course butter block, and then we get our fresh bread delivery from Savage Wheat. I mean, and then Saturdays you've got the croissants, you've got like the milk. I mean, it's exciting to find a new reason for people to get through the door.
Speaking of Butterblock, for those who don't know, Butterblock, the fantastic Parisian level almost, you might say.
Incredible.
Bakery with viennoiserie and other fine things. Sold their uh, Colleen Stillwell sold her first croissants at the farm shop lo these many years ago. And the incubator effect of the farm shop being there, of having a place where people can take great things where they're not sure people will pay for, but this is the thing I want to do, and seeing if there is a market for it, if there's a community. And now Butterblock is a beautiful shop in Five Points.
I mean, it's gorgeous. Like, there's nothing, Colleen can't do anything wrong as far as I'm concerned. I think she's just wonderful.
When you're looking about, you get a lot of people coming to you and saying, "Hey, can I get my stuff in the farm shop? What do you need? What set of parameters do you need to fit into to be right for your shop?"
Well, here's the thing is I am easily convinced if you are excited about what you're doing and you have a quality product. So if you come to me and you're like, listen, like, and you pitch it as far as like how excited you are and how passionate you are about what you're doing, and you're a local maker, and I get to try the product and I think it's quality, and I mean, I think that's pretty much all it takes. I'll take a shot. I'll go to bat for you if you're excited about it, and we'll see if it takes off or not. And I mean, that's really up to you and the quality of the product that you have, because the farm shop is a great vessel in which to propel it forward, but you have to show up with actual goods.
You can convince people to try their stuff, but if the stuff doesn't make people want to buy it a second time, there's only so much you can do.
Exactly. Yeah. So like if you're, but pretty much I'm a sucker for passion. So if you're excited about what you're doing and that like you're like, listen, I make the best jam in the entire world, right? And I'm like, great, I want to try it. Like bring it in. Like let's go. And if the other people agree with me and it takes off, like you got a spot on my shelf.
No. So if you've got an idea that you might like to get into the food business, I would like to ask you, because you have talked to so many people who are in various stages of the I want to get into the food business. I want to make X.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping maybe you could give us a little synopsis of some of the things that you would tell people. Like if you're thinking of getting into a small food business as an artisanal producer,
Yeah.
well, here I am. I am the person who's trying to sell it for you. Let me tell you some things you need to know.
Yeah. All right. So as far as some things you need to know is just basically knowing who your audience is, right? Like who are you trying to go after, and like what do you want your product to say? Like so to take somebody for instance like Emily Savage, right? So her product of Savage Wheat Project succeeds so well because not only does it have like such a quality goods in and of itself, but its message with its biodegradable packaging, with its like trying to reintroduce all the ancient grains into the environment. Um, and like I mean, it's just pretty much like what are you trying to sell and why is it important? So I think that like the passion behind it is the most important thing, and like what your message is. I think, and then yeah,
It's not
just
just
making
enough to
sure.
sell. It's not enough to just sell people a better jar of jam. They need to have a story of why. They need to be able to tell people, like, why is this better? If you can't make your case on the label, how far are you going to get?
Yeah, like the accessibility and marketing is really important too. Like as far as like marketing goes, I'll help you as much as I can, like through social media, but if you've got to create a base for what you want and like who your audience is.
So, a successful producer now needs to not only produce the actual thing, but go out and find who wants it and make sure that they know that they can get it at the farm shop.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just for example, sorry. Hey hon. Yeah, sorry, the dog has to go out. For example, like, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. The dog is important. We could introduce him. I mean,
That guy.
what? I'm sorry. Back on track.
Back on track.
So,
So as far as like what people need to know if they want to start their own business, it's basically, I mean, and unfortunately, a fact that we have to think about, or fortunately too, is the guidelines as far as New York State goes. Like, you can't just come in with, I wish I could take anything that somebody made in their own home kitchen and sell it. Like, say you made a delicious chicken pot pie and you want me to sell it. There are certain, like, New York State and like health guidelines we have to go through before I can put it on the shelves so that the Department of Ag and Markets doesn't get me in trouble.
like, maybe it would be helpful and illuminating if you could, like, let's take that specific example. Okay, you've got a chicken pot pie.
Yeah.
For New York State, for that to be sold under the laws currently applicable in New York State, what are the steps you would have to go through to sell chicken pot pies at the farm shop?
Well, so for a chicken pot pie in and of itself, it would have to be made in a USDA certified kitchen, not just a regular certified kitchen. So the USDA certified deals with meats, right? As far as like wholesale goes. So take someone like we carry Moneybag Dumplings in the freezer, who's wonderful, and like she works out of Chenango Street at the old like Quaker Bonnet Bakery. And I can't sell her meat money bags wholesale because she's in the process of getting her kitchen USDA certified. But once she does, I can sell the meat dumplings, but right now I can sell the vegetarian dumplings. So that's the biggest thing. Otherwise, I could have like somebody make something out of, I know there's a couple churches that have certified kitchens like on Lafayette and things like that. Like, but they would have to be USDA certified to serve like a meat product.
So you have to be able to prove to the farm shop that you have actually followed the rules with the stuff you show up with.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is slightly more complicated than just setting up a table and selling lemonade, isn't it?
It really is. And you that's one of the things that like I've learned as I went along because I had this idea in my head where it would just be like everyone bring something and it can be like grandma's house and it's like just like we've got somebody's soup and we've got somebody's pot pies and we've got someone's desserts, but it is you have to follow guidelines and there are reasons for those guidelines, but at the same time it just makes it a little more complicated than the utopian idea that I had in my head.
And but I think when I have heard people saying, I'm going to get into the restaurant business, I'm going to get into the food business, after all the discussions I've had with people over my experience, my first response tends to be, oh, sweetie, oh, honey. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
because there's such a long journey between the inspiration and I want to do a good thing and the being able to do it. It's a long and arduous process.
It
Uh,
really is.
Wanting to being good at something is not the same as being able to sell the thing you're good at.
Exactly. Well, like the so where the farm shop excels is that it I bought when I bought the farm shop, I bought something that had a reputation attached to it. And I bought a core group of customers who are already excited about things that are in there, but I had to hold up the standard as far as like what comes into the shop. You know what I mean? As far as like that I think it's good and that I think that it should be. I mean, there's of course like trial and error periods, but it's basically it's a vehicle in which you can use to propel your project or your passion.
What are some of the places that, I mean, if you don't find it at the farm shop, it, where are you going to find some of these things? I mean, one of its uses is that it is a collection point for like all these far-flung people you would have to chase down here, hither, and yon. You can just come to one
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you talked about you mentioned Burley Berries to me before, as one of the
Yeah.
places that, you know, is doing some things that people should check out?
Yeah, no, they're a micro creamery and they're just I mean it's run by family Meg and Ryan who Ryan's father owns East Hill Creamery, which is like a nice, like they create wonderful cheeses and wonderful cows. So it's basically the next generation of them. And they do the old fashioned cream top milk and it's low pasteurized. It's not raw, but it's got like the cream top layer of milk. So you got to shake it up and it's just the old fashioned, like it tastes like milk ought to taste. And it's from a small family farm and it's just I mean grass fed cows, it's just a really cool operation and it's very small and they're just wonderful people and they create a fantastic product and I had stalked them on social media before they even started selling their milk and I was the first person in line and I was like me, let me try it, bring it on. And they come up with such cool flavors. They've had like a cinnamon flavored milk. They've had chocolate. They've had strawberry. They have strawberries and cream. They did an eggnog at Christmas. I mean, it's just a really cool operation they've got going on there.
Where's it located?
It's located in Warsaw.
And so they bring their stuff in every week to you with other people and you
Yeah.
stock it. And um, do you notice if there seems to be more interest in low pasteurized dairy products as opposed to the usual stuff you get in the supermarket?
Well, I get people coming in every day looking for raw milk. Every single day that I'm open, someone wants raw milk, but I can't legally sell raw milk.
Okay.
So what
So
you have to
raw milk
do
is just like comes out of the cow into the holding tank. Here you go.
exactly it. Yeah. So I can't legally sell raw milk. So if you want to get your hands on some raw milk, what you have to do is get involved in something called a cow share, which
Oh,
is like where you essentially own a part of the cow, thus entitling you to the raw
oh, cow shit. Wait,
milk.
is this like a CSA but for milk?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so if you are a fractional owner of a cow through one of these programs,
Yeah.
you can get milk raw the way you want.
Yeah, legally raw. So like if I had raw milk on my shelves, it would be a nightmare for like if somebody got sick or if somebody like if it wasn't stored properly because there's so many like special things you have to go through where if you get it directly from the farmers or somebody with the milk share, it is designed specifically for that.
Of course, people running around looking for raw milk and you not being able to sell it to them, this postulates the existence of a raw milk black market. Not that you would know anything about that. I'm just saying that there are
Oh, I'm
probably
sure
people
there
out
is.
there. There's probably people out there texting, all right, I need 2 gallons. All right, come by.
You got the
You
good
know,
stuff or not?
well, listen, I mean, there are reasons that you are not allowed to sell raw milk in the
There's
past.
reasons, yeah.
Many people have died from diseases because something went wrong.
Yeah.
So even if it
No,
seems a
I'm
little
very I'm very happy
precious,
with the vat pasteurized milk from Burley Berries. I mean, it keeps the honesty of the milk, like where it still tastes like milk. Because a lot of the times, if you get milk from like say a mass produced grocery store or something, it tastes like white water. Like that's what you're getting. But like with this, it's got texture, it's got thickness, and like you can just really, it's a completely different experience.
I believe it. One of my grudges against the modern dairy industry is that I grew up drinking raw milk. I grew up
Yeah.
we got milk by the gallon glass jar from Klutzbox Dairy Farm. You could
Oh
go
yeah.
in to the holding tank. They would let you do it yourself. You get the big dipper out, you fill up your jar,
Mm-hmm.
hose everything down to make sure it's clean. Off you go. You next morning in the refrigerator, you open the fridge and there's 4 inches of cream sitting on top of that jar. You take that out, you know, save that for butter or something,
Yeah.
drink the rest of it. So the first time that I had to like drink other milk, like in cartons at the school cafeteria, I was like, what?
Like that's not milk.
Yeah. So just the idea that you can Do you happen to know offhand, I should have asked you this before, how people can find one of these fractional cow programs and get in on the raw milk? Do you happen to know the names?
Yeah. Well, there is a wait list currently at the ones that
Oh,
I know
yeah.
about.
Okay. People want it, so there's a wait list
Oh,
for it.
it's big. It's big time. There's a
Oh,
big market for that for the raw milk. So as like what Burley Berries has created is a great medium. It's offered where you still get the same nutritional value, you still get a great tasting milk, but it's also like been it's just vat pasteurized. So it's a great alternative to like I would say it's preferable to just going the regular route.
one of the things I'm hearing from you, and check me and if this is correct, is that another thing that the farm shop is great at is through your work and through their work, collection of efforts where people have done just about everything that they can to get it just the right way, as close to as legally possible as the good thing. And a lot of these people are sweating the details, and the efforts end up in your shop.
Oh, big time. No, I'm so lucky that everyone that's in the shop is extremely excited what they're doing and it's their life's work, right? Like I mean there's some side projects going on, but say you take Chestnut Hill, which has the forest raised pork that's acorn finished and they're thoughtfully moved throughout the environment so it doesn't damage the forest. Like it's just like little things that you don't think about that show up in the meat and like these pigs are really cared for and they live in a beautiful farm and they're like just living in the woods, which is their natural habitat. They're not meant to be like crowded in crates. And that shows up in your food. It's honest food. Everything I have in there is an honest like passion project from someone. And no one's getting rich off doing this. It's just like we find a way to make a living about doing things, albeit the long way, but the right way.
Sounds a little bit like Patrick Lango, actually. Um, it, you mentioned Chestnut Hill Farm. Where's that located?
It's located in Orchard Park.
Okay. And acorn finished pork. Now, you said that, and it made me think of the famous black pig of Spain that makes the best, supposedly makes the best prosciutto. No, wait, prosciutto is Italian. The best, Iberico cured ham is supposedly from the Bellota, which is finished on acorns. Like the pigs
Yeah,
are in oak forests, I guess, or at least some oaks, and somehow just the flavor of the acorn comes through in the product, huh?
it really does. And I think that like at the risk of sounding corny, I think I think that the way like an animal's life on a farm, the life cycle, how it lives is so important to like these pigs have a good life, right? They're fed good food, they're in their natural environment, and that shines through in the product. Like so it's basically you can mass produce something and it will potentially cost less and it will make you maybe more money because you shove a bunch of animals into an unsafe environment where nobody's happy and is miserable, or something that might cost a little more not only for the customer but for the farmer is providing this natural environment in which they can thrive.
And among other things, the result is a piece of pork that doesn't taste like the other white meat.
Oh
Tastes like
yeah.
it tastes like pig.
Yeah, I had a customer come in the shop and he just kind of wandered in and he asked me why the chicken he bought at the grocery store doesn't taste like chicken and wondered if my chicken tasted like chicken. And I was like, I was like, I can vouch for this chicken because I am on a first name basis with the farmer and I know exactly where it comes from. I've been to the farm where it is and like I've seen the lives that they live and I don't know where this gentleman had gotten his chicken that didn't taste like chicken. But it's just an interesting thing that like he felt comfortable to come into the shop and be like, hey, what's up with this store bought chicken that I got? Like, why is it stringy? Or I don't know. It's just interesting.
Did he leave with any chicken?
No, but he got his question answered.
Well, you probably get a lot of people who are just passing by, just poking around. I mean, what's the easiest way to convert them into a customer? Like, what's the most irresistible thing in your store that you can get people to buy?
Oh man, I mean that's easy. That's like you can literally point at anything in the shop, and it's just I'm excited about it. And so if they ask me, they're like, "Hey, what's up with this jam over here?" And I'll tell you about it. Or they'll be like, "Hey, where are you getting this produce from this time of year?" And I'll say it's organic from the Root Down Farm and Clarence Center, and they use high tunnels, and that's why they're able to provide for farm to table restaurants throughout the year. Like so, yeah, my produce is minimal at this point, but that's because it's winter in Buffalo. So like I'll have potatoes and I'll have kale and I'll have like some onions here and there, but it's just mostly like the store speaks for itself really. I pack a lot into a really small space. So it
Yeah.
gets
Root Down Farm in Clarence, they are still delivering vegetables during the winter.
yeah, they are. So
Houses
they
are like
deliver to
greenhouses.
no, they use high tunnels, which is like a
Oh,
less those are basically just like a covered area. It's not like heated by any means, so it can still grow. So basically, it's just like a covered structure. So they still provide to places like the Grange or Billy Club or the Little Club all through the winter.
oh,
Like I'm still getting carrots, kale, and potatoes mostly right now.
well,
But they sell out like that. Everybody, I mean, they can't wait to get their paws on it. So
one of the other places that you mentioned that I thought I would ask you to talk about a little bit is the Savage Wheat Project.
oh yeah. I mean, Savage Wheat Project is I think it's one of the coolest businesses I've ever heard of. Not only for I mean, the fact that Emily is a friend of mine it doesn't bear any weight on this, but the fact that she is such a wonderful person and her what she focuses on is biodiversity. I mean, she focused on good, honest ingredients like using honey and maple syrup versus white sugar, or she'll use whole organic ancient grains versus just like traditional wheat. So it's easier to digest and like it's more accessible to more people. She makes like a spelt flour brownie that I can't keep in stock. Like she makes cheesecake, she makes sourdough rye bread that like I can't get enough of personally. That's my favorite. But
The the
she's
the
sorry.
no, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. And the fascinating thing I think about Emily Savage and her Savage Wheat Project is here is a person who grew up as a professional as a pastry chef, a very, very
Yeah.
good pastry chef. Started the
Oh
program,
yeah.
Elm Street Bakery, was at the Grange, and
Yeah.
top of her profession. And what do pastry chefs deal with? They deal in white flour and sugar. And
Oh
then
yeah.
she literally was bit by a bug, uh, got Lyme disease, and one of the reactions her body had is that it became essentially allergic to white flour and sugar. And so she, using her skills as a top-notch pastry chef, has refocused on like, how can I do the good things without using the things that make me sick? And the result is the Savage Wheat Project.
It's so cool. I mean, talk about a chick that solved her own problem, right? Like she's just like she had her passion, she had her career, she was top of her game, and then this life-changing event happened to her. And instead of being like, oh no, what do I do? She goes and turns it around and starts this business that is helping so many people. Like I have people that come in specifically for her every week. And that they're so grateful that there's a city location for all of her products. And she's just, I mean, I can't say enough about her.
People who have told me that they can eat bread again. And it sounds a little maybe not a big deal to some people, but if you can't eat bread and then somebody helps you be able to eat bread again, that's a
I
big
know
deal.
it's incredible, and it's not just. I mean, it's what she's doing as far as that goes, but also like her message that healthy food should be affordable. I think is just like it's beyond. I mean, there because you can create this boutique product like her product she could sell for a lot more than she is, but it's important to her to have it accessible. And I think that I mean, it's just that type of message that really gets me going.
Um, so I want to take a minute, and for those who are following along at home, um, Kelcey is here with us for another roughly half an hour, depending. And if you have questions for her, please type them into the chat where you can see some other information. And I've also, in the chat, if you'll have a look, put links of some of the places that she's talked about. Uh, and you can put your question to Kelcey while we have her. Um, let's take a break for a minute. Breathe. I have some questions. These are like the random, these are the four bites. These are the
Fire
I
away.
I pitch, you swing.
All
So,
right.
you have been, for some reason that's not important, absent from the Buffalo area for a decade. You get back at the airport. Where's the first place you go to eat, and what do you get?
First place I go to eat, what do I get? I mean, as far as like restaurants go, I would say I'm a sucker for Rancho on Niagara. We're going to Rancho. We're going to Rancho and we're getting tacos and queso with chorizo. Or we're going to my mom's house and she's making a tuna melt.
We can't all go over to your mom's house as much as we
We're all
wish.
going to my mom's.
So Rancho on Niagara. Have you ever spent any time there during the summer when the Niagara Street drag show is going on?
It's incredible. I mean, I live right around the corner from there, so it's kind of like it's just a wonderful. I love everything about that place.
And if you have a favorite, which tacos do you normally get?
I'm a sucker for an al pastor.
Pineapple chili. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a
Right.
sucker for the al pastor, and let's see here, can't go wrong with carnitas. Yeah,
Righty then.
final answer. Final answer.
Next question. Person who is working harder for the purest food ever, what is your favorite junk food?
Oh, that's
Everybody's got one. Come on. I'm a crunchy Cheeto guy. So I'm
a
not, this is
crunchy
not like a
Cheeto
sham.
guy. I know. I'm trying to think because like it depends on what the where the mood strikes me, right? What
You
is
can
my
have more than
biggest
one.
junk food? I mean, I think I answered it. I think I answered it with the first one. We got tacos. Tacos, big time, queso and chorizo. That's a tough. That's a
When I say junk food, I mean things that need no refrigeration that can largely be purchased on gas station shelves.
okay. I can't. I don't think you realize
It'd be
how
the
crunchy
least,
of an environment I was raised in.
I'm thinking of the least artisanal, least bioactive substance that you find yourself craving sometimes. I mean, come on. You don't ever want an Oreo or something?
I mean, everybody wants an Oreo every now and
Okay.
again.
All right.
Let's say no. I've got an answer. I've got an answer. I'm just gotta. I feel put on the spot here. There's so
Oh,
many. All right,
sorry.
so
I
I'm
don't
going
mean
to.
to be
I'm going
assaultive.
to. I'm thinking. All right, I'm gonna circle back to that one because I know it's here.
Next. Um, I would like your opinion of some of the most underappreciated restaurants in Buffalo, in your opinion.
Okay. I
There are
mean, I
places where
don't
you're like, how
know.
come places where you go and you're like, how come this place isn't full?
I would say West Side Bazaar is probably my favorite place to go, and the fact that there isn't a line out the door every single day, people knocking down the door to get in there is I mean, it is busy. There's no by no stretch of the imagination is it not a populated environment. But I just think once again, it's a choose your own culinary adventure in there, right? So you can get something from all around the world, and it's so exciting. So I would say West Side Bazaar is my favorite Buffalo treasure. Say if somebody's never been here before, maybe they've lived here for a long time and they ask me, where should I go eat tonight? I'm gonna give them that.
Side Bazaar, 1432 Niagara Street. Now, with all the space to spread out you want, tables, I spent so much time waiting for somebody or, eating in my car. I eat in my car a lot. So and I just want to say, if you haven't had the hawashi, which is the beef in pastry at the Egyptian place yet,
I haven't.
I commend it to your attention the next time you go in there.
Ooh, hoo, hoo. I'm all over it.
So I see a question from one of the viewers in the chat, so we'll get that after we just finish a couple of the questions. So I know this is controversial, but so brace yourself. I'm going to put you on the spot again.
Okay. All right, let's go.
Favorite pizza in Buffalo?
Oh, favorite
Right in the
pizza in
gut.
Buffalo.
Boom. That's a big one.
Ugh, right in the gut. I mean, it depends on what mood I'm in, right?
You
Like,
can
so
have
there's a pizza.
multiple. You can have multiple answers. That's fine.
Okay. All right. So we're having flatbread pizza. It's Jay's Artisanal Pizza is incredible. And then if we're doing just like say there's a football game on, Sport City is pretty great.
Hmm.
So their
Okay.
dry rub Cajun wings are wonderful. Mr. Pizza
Hey,
with the garlic sesame crust specifically. We can do this all day.
listen, and I would believe me, because making other people hungry and listening to other people make me hungry in return is what it's all about. Um, okay, so thank you for participating in the question round. Question from a viewer. I've recently returned to Buffalo. Do you think a lot of the Buffalo community supports local? For those that do, why do why do you think they do?
Why do I think they do? I feel like I exist in a bubble as far as that question goes because everyone that comes into my shop is not everyone, but I would say a lot of my target audience is really excited about that. And like they'll be like they love that they can get their milk, their bread, their vegetables and like no it all comes from a local farm. So in my micro bubble, it's the biggest thing around. But I think all in all, just as like farm to table restaurants are always like really popular, I think that essentially I'm the DIY farm to table. Like you get all the ingredients, but you have to put it together yourself. I think that people in Buffalo, being the city of good neighbors, get excited about supporting each other.
What do you think you can do to expand your bubble? This must be something you think about.
It really is. I mean, being supported just to ask by people like you to come on your show to talk about it, where maybe I'm reaching somebody that has never heard of. I mean, the shop is smaller than my dining room, and I have a pretty small dining room, so it's a tiny place. And so just people like you or people word of mouth, social media is huge. I mean, it's a free advertising tool that like because some of the products I have in the shop, people wouldn't know what to do with, right? Like they don't know. And like if I describe it on social media and like maybe explain it a little bit and make it more accessible, like whereas they might be intimidated to come in and be like, I'm sorry, what is einkorn? Or like, what is this ancient grain? What is like asking questions? If I make an accessible social media post explaining what it is and maybe take a little bit of the intimidation away, I mean, I think social media is a great tool.
Have you found occasions where you have posted something to social media and say, "Hey, this is available at the shop," and people see it and come down you hadn't met before?
Every day.
Oh,
Yeah. Like every day somebody will be like, oh, I saw this on there, or I saw like something about the different pastries I'll have each week, or Emma O'Donnell from Pie and Scone makes a different pie every week for the shop, a homemade pie, and I'll post about it, and like people get really excited. Or she'll do a savory Danish. Like last week, it was a garlic kale Danish with cheddar cheese, and like basically just post about that, and people are like, "Whoa, that looks great!" So pretty
it, it,
exciting.
well, it's nice that you have some tools to draw people into your web. I
It
mean,
is.
it, But you could use more customers, right? So uh,
Always. Yeah.
word of mouth, dragging people in to see it. Um, I don't know. I don't know what we can do to get you completely overrun, but we're going to have to work on that.
We're gonna give me a run for my money. We'll see where it goes. I mean, I think that a lot of the time the products carry with them a customer base. Like we've been talking a lot about Emily Savage, and like she has like people will say run into her at a farmer's market, or they'll run into her at an event and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I like she talked to me for a long time about ancient grains and about like her breads, and I'm really excited that I can get it in the city. So like she will bring people in, or the fact that or like Emma Pine Scone will bring people in. It's just that people knowing where to get things, and while they're there they'll maybe bring a friend. It's just, yeah, that's pretty much how it
First,
goes.
the first task of a food writer is making someone hungry for something they didn't know existed previously.
Yeah.
So first you have to let them know that a better thing or an interesting thing that might fit their taste exists. And then you have to connect them with it by giving them enough information to how they can get it into their eye holes. So
Yeah.
you need access. Information's not enough.
Yeah.
And you guys are the keeping the flag up for a whole bunch of people's dreams. And
Yeah.
if there was, I don't know, another way to get people in there, maybe then it wouldn't just be the people in the know. So yeah, we got to figure out how to make the farm shop, you know, unmissable.
Unmissable. Well, I'll
Well, I
tell you
mean,
right now, what brings more people in off the street than anything else is my dog in the doorway. He gets
hey, listen,
my
whatever it
13
takes,
year
right?
old golden retriever sleeping in the sunlight. That's what does it, because people are like, what is this dog doing? And then they accidentally stumble in, or they'll say, oh, I've walked past this place forever and I've never seen it open, and like then it's pretty exciting. But he does a lot of work that he doesn't even know he's doing. So
He's a good boy.
he is the best boy.
So, um, I wanted to make sure that gave you a chance to talk about some of the other favorite producers that you were talking
Oh
about.
yeah.
You mentioned so Root Down Farm, that's in Clarence, Pie and
Yeah,
Scone.
Aaron and
You
Steve.
mentioned them a
Pie
couple
and
times.
Scone. Yeah, so Pie and Scone she's worked with places like Massachusetts Avenue Project. She teaches pie making classes. Like she's done all kinds of things. And now she's based out of East Aurora. And she did all of our Thanksgiving pie orders. She did like we did pre-orders for Thanksgiving, and she just knocks it out of the park every week. And I kind of what I do is like she showed up the first couple weeks with these delicious pies, right? And I've given her full creative control every week. I'm like, you bring in, like, I trust this woman with like her taste and her creativity, and I'm like, she could bring in anything, and I would have it. I would showcase it, and I get to try a little bit of it. And we're talking about like expanding what she's going to be doing to doing like frozen pot pies in the shop, like maybe vegetarian ones and like all different kinds of, so because there's an option for everybody.
Back up
So
a little. If you could back up a little bit, you said that some of the pies are creative. I mean, so are we saying more than apple and cherry or whatever?
oh yeah, like this past week she did a banana cream pie, but she did like a salted local honey custard in there, and like it was topped with pieces of honeycomb, and like
Oh,
she's wild.
oh,
Yeah, and they
okay.
sell out in about 2 seconds.
Uh, so you said Thursday the pies come in? Is that when you said?
Yeah, Thursdays between I'm open Thursdays from 3 to 7, and that's Emma's night. So she does a savory Danish every week, and she does I mean she uses local ingredients in the savory Danishes when possible, and then she does homemade pies, and in the summer those are usually made with like what's in season. But right now, I mean, every week she shows up with something that absolutely knocks my socks off. So it's exciting.
Sounds like someone who ought to be encouraged with cash money and other,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
one more place. So it's 10:44. One more
Mhm.
place I wanted to make sure you got a chance to talk about because I know how thrilled you are about them is the Moneybags dumplings. So it's been a couple of
Ah,
years. I've seen their stuff. So are they all fried or they're fried and steamed?
no, it's so how I sell them right now is frozen in the shop. And if you scan a QR code on her packaging, it takes you to like different ways you can prepare them. So you can steam them, you can air fry them, which is a really popular way to do it,
Oh,
or you can like
okay.
saute them in a pan. And so
And
she just comes up with different options every like we pretty much stick to about 5 different flavors that we have stocked up, and she's just not only is Jolly like one of the nicest people I've ever met, but she's so creative and hardworking, and she's just an absolute joy.
oh, money bag dumplings. You can prepare them any way you want. For air fryer dumplings, never heard of it. That sounds like something that people can get behind. No oil, right? But you can get them crispy.
Right? I know. Yeah, no, and
Okay,
she's
I'm getting
creative
hungry.
and she's fun. I know, let's go.
So, okay, well, listen, this has been a great conversation. Before I wrap it up, though, I just want to say, if you have, is there anything else you wanted to let people know? I mean, this is about getting information out and get about getting more people know. And is there anything left that you haven't talked about that you wish people knew about the farm shop?
What I wish people knew about the farm shop, I wish I got approached more by excited makers. I mean, like I find a lot of them myself through I don't know, just like stalking the internet or through word of mouth or through things like that. But I can't wait for somebody to knock down my door with a product that I haven't heard about before that's maybe trying something a little bit new. I mean, I can't wait to help other people achieve their dreams because this is certainly mine.
And you call yourself the hype woman for all things local, and man, you are earning it. I'm loving it. No, that was your words. That was you. Hey, the hat
I
fits.
am. Well, because people will walk in the store and they're like, "What do you make?" And I was like, "Funny story. I'm just excited about what other people are doing." I mean, so like I make things at home, but I'm not delusional enough to think that I'm on the same level as the people whose products I am selling at the shop. So I get excited about other people more than I do about myself, and I think that that's fair. That's where my
Oh,
strength lies.
it's great to know that you're there, Kelsey, waiting for people to come up with their inventions. And it's great to know that you got a place where people can get in on all the hard principled work of all these people. And
Yeah.
right here in Buffalo, New York, right around the corner from the place and Kuni's um, farm shop, everybody. Thank you, Kelsey.
Thank you, Andrew. It's always a pleasure.
I will talk to you later. And I'm going to come by on Thursday because I hear that's Pie Day.
I'll be waiting for you.